Welcome back to another episode of Reffing with the Sappers. We've got a special episode. We've got I think our second episode where a referee who's not a sapper comes and reviews their game, and both of them have been with a Ledesma. So Evan did one with us in the fall. Now, Carlos, you've got one that you did. So why don't you give us a little bit of lay of the land of your match?
All right, well, this one's Roseville Premier Black versus ARFC in white. Game was played in Roseville on March 9th at 12:50 p.m. It's U16 boys.
Always lively.
Okay, before we start this game, I'd like for you to note that there's going to be a regular crew of 3, center 2 ARs in red. Behind the assistant referees, the ARs, will be another assistant referee who is in training. They'll be wearing yellow. It's the training program that we developed here in Roseville that helps new referees kind of get used to the game, comfortable, confident before they go work their own games.
Honestly, I think that program's one of the best that I've seen from any club. Like, it pays them a little bit of money, makes it, what is it, like half a game
That's right.
fee?
Yeah, we
roughly
$20, $25 per game.
And they come out, they get to, with no pressure, get to see how it's actually done and watch a more experienced ref. So.
Yeah, his coach got his license.
So here we are, minute 4. White is taking a corner kick. Black is defending. The white attacker kind of tries to go over Black's body. And I want to set the tone early. This is minute 4. So I call that a foul for Black.
Right there. He even gives him a little shove off of the
All right, so about 15 seconds later, we get a clear handball. Black is coming in to win the ball. It pops up, and he uses his number 30 Black uses his left arm to kind of control it a little bit.
He kind of first bounces off his white player, but then Black gets him right there, arm out a little bit. Okay, so when I was reviewing this game, kind of in minute 6 here, there was a corner kick that wasn't particularly noteworthy, other than I noticed kind of your positioning on the field, and it was kind of not in a spot that I would normally set up, so I just wanted to kind of ask you a little bit about it. So you're setting up here for this corner, and then you come straight up into kind of the middle of the arc here. Talk us through a little bit about positioning here. And
yeah, ideally, I would have liked to have been farther to my left, another maybe 5 to 8 yards, so I can sandwich every player between myself and the AR. All right, and now on the 8th minute, look, it's to clear tripping. The 30 Black will come in and just make contact without even touching the ball.
Yep.
All right, minute 10 now. We have, I don't know, looks like a double foul on video.
Yeah.
To me, I don't. You'll see a handball, handling. White kicks the ball into Black's arm, but I think Black is kind of trying to not do it. But in that action, he trips White 21.
Playing it through here. Yeah, there you see it hit the handball, but then he also gets him right there on the ankle.
All right, so now on minute 14, see number 5 there at the bottom. He had been subbed in already. It was probably 5 minutes into the game after being subbed in. I noticed his style of play was he's a very stocky, like a running back kind of a body, right? He used his body a lot. I felt like he was going to use it a little too much, without playing the ball. He was using his body and kind of leaning or charging,
looking too
players.
much for the contact.
Yeah, and his body, he would hurt somebody for sure. So on this one, the way he comes in, from my perspective, was a little heavy after having watched him a few plays before doing that a couple times. So I wanted to kind of temper that down a little bit because, as you can see, it was more body contact than playing the ball for me.
Now this ends up being important later because
Okay, now four minutes later, minute 18, against number 5, he basically comes in and charges the defender without really having a play on the ball. He just, boom.
Yeah, it goes through.
His leg is up. He wants a piggyback ride. And because I had seen him play like that before the last foul, I was looking for it.
Have a discussion with him.
Right. So I basically tell him, I go, look, you're strong, fast player, skilled. Use your skill don't use up your body excessively. All right, I guess 30 seconds later, we have what appear to me be a handling. Shot gets taken. Black is trying to move out of the way, but he crosses his arm, and the ball ends up hitting his arm and pretty much drops in front of him. So he would have done better just to put his hand, take it on the chest, and let the rest go.
Yep.
All right, minute 20. Here we have I'm guessing reckless. I went with reckless, but there's a potential of also being stopping a promising attack. But I think for the most part, I think I would have gone reckless on that one. He came in pretty hard and
it's yellow either way.
Deserved, yeah.
I think
he earned the yellow.
There's the card in the front pocket.
Card in the front pocket.
Pull it out right away.
All right, next decision is 3 minutes later. You'll see it's pretty clear push. White pushes black.
Right.
Two hands.
Two-handed shove. Sends him forward like 3 yards.
Okay, our next call a minute later, minute 24. Both my AR and I noticed the tripping.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
All right, this next one, maybe I was being a little hypersensitive, but it looked to me, we got 2 players going at the ball. White's a little bit ahead, but it looked like a shove to me with, White extending his arms. See how black is getting pushed away, and even White is no longer on the same trail as the ball. He's also using a little bit more force and the arm to push. So to me and to them, it looked like a foul, enough that even the AR could have probably called it as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, minute 26. We get a cheeky push from white to black.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty obvious. You'll see it. And there it goes.
With the whole upper hand and upper body and everything right in his shoulder blades. Yeah. This white team, it seems like there is some physicality to their game. So in this
which
match.
Is why it probably seemed like I was calling more fouls against white.
But they were fouling more. There's nothing in the laws in the game that says you must call an equal number of fouls for each team.
No, there isn't, yeah.
About a minute later, I think the keeper's doing a drop kick. The ball's flying in from the right side of your screen to the left side of the screen, and we're going to see, I think, what is playing in a dangerous manner for a high kick. I'm going to have to play it in slow motion here so we see it, but the ball's coming right there. See that player's trying to play it right there. Like, that's millimeters from that guy's head. In fact, we were kind of debating, does he actually make contact with him? But when you watch
his... I kind of remember, but no, I don't think he did.
And you looking at his body language, he doesn't look like he was kicked, but definitely a dangerous play.
It was maybe this close from there.
Right.
On this one, black is attacking, has the ball, and he's getting chopped a little bit on his ankles, and
right there,
I could have called something there, but he still had the ball, he still had control of it, and he regains it, but then he gets fouled there for sure.
So I end up recording that as 2 decisions because they happen in rapid succession there, but I think it's the right decision to let it play there, after the first one and just see what kind of happens. It is interesting that different referees have a different threshold of how long they allow, they would consider it next phase of play before they would call back advantage. I feel like I'm learning that mine's maybe my threshold's a little bit shorter than some other referees. We even saw that on one of the reviews. Katie wanted me to call one back in the last one that I thought we were on the next phase of play. So maybe that's something I need to learn.
All right, a minute later, I call a tripping foul against black. But when we go to VAR, in real time, it looked like a trip for... the way they were fighting for the ball and how black sticks his foot in front of white. But when you slow it down, frame by frame, you look at...
See, he wins the ball there.
Right there. White initiates the contact on black and trips off of black's planted foot.
So, first deduction. You're still running above 90%, 95%.
All right, a few minutes later, minute 36. Another example of advantage, right? You'll see black clearly get pushed by white.
Right there. You can see. At first I thought, well, maybe it wasn't, but then you see his, that arm is out before he ever even tries to whip his leg around. So, definitely a foul.
And it just takes a little bit. When you're already leaning one way, it just takes a little bit of a push to
get you off.
Get you all the way.
Yeah.
So he he does get fouled there, but the ball goes right to his teammate, who.
And you were already signaling advantage.
I was, yeah, but he didn't. His touch wasn't. He was a little heavy.
Yeah.
So if he would have controlled that ball a little bit better, there might have been a decent advantage there. A good maybe turn and shot on goal or a.
And this defender
through
makes
ball.
A good play to disrupt what they're trying to do there.
Again, that's only a couple seconds later.
Yep.
We get to call it back for the foul that actually occurred.
And you bring it all back to that one. There's no foul there on the second piece.
Right, I didn't see one.
Yep. I think in this advantage situation, let's listen a little bit to the audio and the what you hear from the sidelines, because the camera is on the sideline for the black team, who's the offended team, the team who was fouled against in this one. Let's listen to the spectators here.
Whoa! Come on!
So they're already saying, "Whoa, come on," and you're already like signaling advantage, which means you saw it, right? I understand that it's just the normal reaction, but it's also a little bit like, hey, when you've got good referees, like you're going to look for, is there an advantage? Because if he comes in, he strikes it, and he goes right in the back of the net, and if you had called it back, they're gonna be upset, right? So let the ref do his job.
Okay, now we're in minute 37. Black's on attack. White wins the ball, and then Black continues to try to go through him.
Just like, hey, I'd like to go into that space.
Yeah.
Let me make some more space.
Now minute 39. A great example of AR helping you out, right?
Yeah.
I was watching, and I saw the contact, waiting a few seconds, was most likely going to call that, but my AR raised its flags also, and confirmed the foul.
And I think that ended up being your last decision before halftime.
What's the thing? He's not afraid to go in. He has such heavy legs. Get up.
All right, so going into halftime here, we've had 19 decisions in the first half. And as we've seen on the channel, there are games that have that many decisions in a half, but they're not as common. So I guess maybe talk me through a little bit. What did you and the crew talk about at halftime?
Well, because I didn't know exactly how many we had called, but I felt like there were a lot of calls that I wanted the assistant referees to also be aware of. Like if there are any calls that they see. So we talked about being a little bit more engaged, looking for those fouls, maybe help me out in trying to spot them. Because if they wiggle their flag and I'm about to blow my whistle, it's sort of a confirmation, and we're a crew working together.
And it looks cleaner to the sideline.
It looks cleaner to the sideline. Yeah, he sees it, I see it.
Well, let's get to the second half going, because it gets even more interesting in the second half, I think.
Okay, so we're 6 minutes into the second half, and Black has already scored a goal. But this next decision, it's nothing major. It's an obvious handball. He sticks his arm out to try to control the ball there.
Very good. Like it's way. That's even handball. Right?
Yeah,
it's just out there.
Yeah. So minute 47. I called what I thought was just a little bit too aggressive of a challenge. He could easily have won the ball, but he kind of dips his shoulders. Okay, so 30 seconds later, we see Black attacking. White starts to defend, and contact, push. Contact, push.
Yep. And
kudos to the AR who also called it. All right, and in the 49th minute, another one of those, foul, advantage, call it back situations where White has the ball here, Black comes in, misses the ball, gets him. He's still on his feet. He had a chance at an advantage, a nice little through ball to that striker.
And it goes
could have meant something.
Keeper, yeah. If he touches it a little bit lighter, it goes right to that guy who's going straight in, right?
Right.
That's why he's not down because he's hurt. He's down because
he's hurt. He got hurt.
Did he?
Yeah, he got a Charlie horse on his left leg.
Oh, I thought he was kicking himself for not touching
probably
that
that
lighter.
Too. Right? Probably that too. But he ended up a little bit injured, so definitely had to call that one back. All right, minute 52. We get our second yellow of the game. Black is defending, White has the ball, and Black just comes in from behind, doesn't even get the ball at all.
That ball's long since
but
away.
Hard and from behind. A well-earned yellow.
Yep.
All right, so minute 53 now. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. There was a lot of things going on with the feet, the legs, and arms on this one. Ultimately, I'm right there.
In slow motion, it looks like White's kind of clumsily like trying to switch his feet up, and like honestly, if I didn't have you here, I'd probably say this isn't a foul.
Yeah.
But you're looking, one, this camera angle isn't good. We can't really see what happens between them, and you are standing where you do see what happens between them. Mm-hmm. But I think in this one we have to go with your call in the field because you were in a very credible position. We can't really see it from here. It is ironic that I think at the end of the game, wasn't it the white team that was complaining the most about your officiating?
They won it, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those calls.
Okay, minute 54, black and white here. White just happens to win the ball by a split second as White is trying to kick at it, but ends up making contact with White's legs from behind.
Interesting, it feels a little bit like in the first half White was committing more fouls, and here at least early in the second half it feels like Black's been committing a few more fouls in this one. Funny how the swings go in games.
All right, minute 56. This is the moment where I lose ARFC support. You'll see Black player makes a legitimate fair tackle. There, he makes a tackle for the ball.
Yep.
At that moment, see where I'm standing. From my angle, 5 was already throwing his body towards number 16 Black.
Yeah, and you see him kind of.
He's already leaning towards his right. He's not even playing the ball, which was his MO.
Yeah, we saw that in
the
first
very
half,
beginning.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Since the beginning of the game, he just throws his body at the players.
And you'd already talked to him.
I had already talked to him.
First half, yeah.
He already had a couple fouls on him, and now that one in particular he was just not even playing the ball. He was just throwing his body at the player.
And from the sidelines, both sidelines are thinking that's probably Black actually committed. When they see that, they're thinking Black committed the foul.
They're thinking that the slide tackle clipped his feet.
But you come in and you give a yellow card here.
Yeah.
Right. And you talk to him. And it's kind of this moment that we hear the ARFC, the white team spectators, they're on the far side, so we can't hear it perfectly from this camera, but we do hear the uproar.
Hey, Owen, kick it. I think it's an extra.
You can hear a lot of, hey, he was going for that.
Yeah, and even if you go back, you would think everyone was thinking, and it was my fault for not pointing direction right away, but I wanted to calm everything down and specifically talked and yellow card that number 5. But you could hear even the home team on the camera side thinking that the foul was against Black. Coach was even saying that's a fair tackle or good tackle, something like that. Right. All right, minute 61. Taking a page from the Sapper book. I on the field thought it was impeding as light as it might look. Honestly, I would have been fine letting it go.
But he kind of he's not running directly at the ball. It looks like he's trying to run into that path and impede him. I think.
Right.
Yeah. I think you could let that go. Like if you didn't.
I think I could.
If you didn't call that, we'd probably be sitting here saying, okay, it's a reasonable enough.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that I ended up calling it, obviously. But again, it's one of those where it's like, come on, man, you're, what is this, 15 years old on a comp game, 1-0. We got to play a little hard.
Yep. And impeding with contact, direct free kick on the restart. So I think that's a good one. All
right, same minute, kick straight from the last foul.
Yep.
Right? It's going to these 3 players. White just kicked it up in the air, and here you get a dangerous play.
Dangerous play. Very dangerous. Oh, my goodness. Even with the flinch and everything.
Yeah. My whistle to the mouth before his foot came down. Minute 62, we have contact between a White attacker and the goalkeeper. And I made it a no call on the field. Because it looked to me like they came at it exactly at the same time.
Yep.
They got the ball at the same time.
I know I've said it before on this channel. I'll probably keep saying it, that these types of decisions for me as a referee are some of the most difficult to make, because just those microseconds of who gets to the ball first make the difference in, is this is it a no call, which is what we've got here, Or if white gets there just a split second sooner, suddenly this is a penalty kick and maybe even a card, depending on the color, on that keeper. And so those microseconds of how that happens is just really critical. And you've got to kind of be in position to see it. Your mind's got to be in the right space to see it. So.
And I'll say it, and I've said it over and over, and I'll keep saying it too. Whenever you hear from the sideline, protect my keeper after contact has been made and the keeper's hurt. We cringe when we see this, but we can't blow the whistle before it happens, right? If I would have blown the whistle before that, just because I know that they were going to make contact, that's just not possible in soccer, right?
And you mean you don't have the soccer minority report to where you know if that's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, I know. All right, a couple minutes later, we have that was a slide tackle, by the way. It's a good slide tackle with players on the ground, but that's no fouls were committed there. We'll have a trip by White there. All right, minute 66. I do end up calling a foul here, but it was mainly to support the assistant referee because I thought I didn't see enough. There was something, but I didn't see enough to call one, so I waited. But he popped his flag, so in support of my assistant referee, maybe he saw something that I didn't. I called the whistle. Here is a little bit of contact, still playing, no big deal. Maybe some ankle chopping. I think he calls that. From my angle, I may have been blocked, so I went with the assistant referee who called the foul. He maybe saw impeding or tripping.
And I think for me, watching this here, there's not nothing there. Like you see him kind of jump out just a little bit, but I also, for me, that's not enough for a foul. Now, I think I would do the same thing you did particularly if I'm training young referees and whatnot. If they go ahead and pop the flag on this, I'm going to go ahead and support them and sell it, and then maybe work with them after, you know.
But because there was something
right,
that he saw that, and other refs might have called it, half will, half won't. So there is something there.
I think I'm going to go in that we take a half point deduction. Sure. Half point.
So the next minute we have a goal kick coming in from the right side. Black is going up for the header or chest trap, but White comes in a little bit on the back. In real time, if you look at it, it looks like he throws in his shoulder, right? But if you let it play, the black team does not lose possession of the ball. White, everyone's still on their feet, and I motion, play on. All right, a few seconds later, the ball goes out for a throw-in, and I take this opportunity, even though there's been some time before or after a particular foul, a yellow card to the number 5 White player, that I want to go over and explain it to the coach because I'm hearing chatter from mostly the parents. Honestly, the players have all been great. All the players on the field were good. But I go over here to talk to the coach. I wanted to explain it, the yellow card earlier, but I just didn't get a chance to, find the balls over there and for a throw-in. I finally get a chance to go over there and chat with him a little bit just to kind of explain it to him. But of course, he didn't want to hear it. He thought that the foul was against his player. He even says, "Didn't you see he was getting the S kicked?" And I said, "Excuse me, what?" And he goes, "Never mind." So I attempted to explain it to him to try to calm him down. But he wasn't receptive. So then I walk away. You see me go, "Excuse me, what?"
Is that where
so right there?
Excuse me, what? What did you say? Well, you tried.
I tried.
You tried.
I always try to. And another minute later, we have a charge. White charging black.
Ball's away.
Yeah, ball's away. He can't stop himself. He's got Flintstone brakes, and even my AR over there
trying to help you out
agrees. 70th minute, we have a handball. Bounces up to one arm.
There, hits 58.
2 arms. Okay, a couple minutes later, minute 72, we have the 4th yellow of the game. Just a late, reckless slide tackle by 28 White. Oh.
So the defender makes a nice kick it out, but
Yeah, I mean, the foot was high.
So you come in, looks like you're kind of thinking about, do you want to give a card? Do you not? Go ahead and give it to him.
Minute 73, we have a foul committed by white. But I wait.
And right there, he just like he
definitely fouls. My eyes are still looking at him.
Yep.
But I wait, and I see advantage. A very good advantage. Okay, minute 75. What looked to me like a obvious trip committed by black.
A little too rough there.
Yeah, a little too hard, a little too late.
A bit much.
All right, a controversial one, I think. Minute 78, I end up calling a handling. Black player is falling. He already has one support arm on the ground, and his left hand grabs the ball or touches the ball. So to me, that left hand has not been is not a support hand. It's like when they fall and they go to grab the ball.
And for me, like, it's a hard sell for me that he's reaching out to get the ball. I think he's trying to he's falling, his arm's coming down, he's trying to support himself like anybody would. So, like, we can't quite agree on this one. So
I'm a harder sell, that's why. I'm not buying that.
So let us know in the comments, because I'm going to insist that we take a half-point deduction on this.
That's fine, I'll take a half point.
But I think let's bounce over to IFAB's football rules and the simplified laws of the game. They published these last year, meant to be kind of, guides to just regular layman's terms, how to interpret things. If we got offenses and sanctions, they've got a section here on handball, and they kind of review the definition here. But I want to specifically go down to the what happens if, and they've got a Q&A here. Player is falling and the ball hits their supporting arm, which is between their body and the ground. And they want to call that here not a handball. As we're interpreting this here, it does become a nuanced question of, was this player naturally falling and just trying to support their body, or was there a reach out there?
Yes, there was.
So Carlos thinks there's a reach out.
Look at his hand.
Yeah, look, his arm's already out. He's not even looking.
Look at his right hand lands, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to reach for the ball.
Okay, so let us know in the comments. We can't agree here in the studio, but let us know what you guys think. Carlos thinks it's a handball. I'm gonna say no handball, but we're gonna put the half-point deduction with Carlos grumbling the whole way.
I'm fine with it.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think on this one, and who you think is right here.
All right,
Still 78.
Minute 78. We have two decisions. One that I think I missed because of possible bodies in front of me. I did see the action. I did see one player coming in and one player falling over, but I didn't see the full contact, and I didn't see anything from my AR. But then the next foul,
it's right there.
That one I may have missed.
Right there, he shoves
off. And then
off.
there's that one where it just kind of shoves him off.
If we go back to this guy though, right there, that's the moment, the decision. But like, you're standing just off this screen, right there. So you've got this big guy in front of you, and then you've got two more players who were kind of in that path. So you're probably shielded, and then if you don't get any help from your
probably. I mean, if I had seen that, looking at the video, it's clear that it was a foul.
Yeah.
He came in on his back.
All right, so that'll be two quick decisions that happen in rapid succession. The first one, I think, probably should have been called, so that'll end up being a deduction on that one.
Final minute of the game, final call of the game. We got a corner kick by Black, and I see a holding there. 1, 2. And that was the final call of the match.
Nice job.
So that seemed to be a really active game. We do have some other episodes on the channel that have upwards of 40 plus decisions, but they're not that common. But definitely, I know you called me after the night after this match, and you said, "I've got one we definitely have to review."
Yeah, because I was hearing it from the ARFC side, and even at the end where the refs, the ARs and I were packing up and getting ready to go, a family, a dad and his wife and his daughter and the player, the redheaded player on the white team, comes up as he's walking by me. And doesn't come up to me, but as he's walking by me, he says, "Hey, are you from Roseville?" And of course I roll my eyes like, I know what's coming.
Like it matters.
Right, so I say, "Okay, yes, I'll bite." "Yes, I'm from Roseville." And he says, "Thought so." And I'm like, okay, you feel better?
Like it
As he's
matters.
walking by, yeah.
Like it matters, right?
So I'm like, I gotta watch this video. What happened?
We gotta see. Well, I know when I did the initial review after you sent it to me, I remember I texted you and I'm like, well, if they were complaining, there was a lot of decisions, but if they were complaining, I don't know about what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, score-wise, let's take a look at that. So with 45 decisions and 3 deductions, that gives a final Sapper score for this game of 93.3%. So that is right on the borderline between a good game and a great game. So, like, there's really, I don't think there's much here that they can legitimately complain about.
Some of those, at one point, as at least a...
Yeah, we were kind of unsure.
So probably in the 95 range too.
Yeah, could be.
Depending on the comments.
Could be. Yeah. Let us know.
Back me up on the comments, and then we'll redo the Sapper score.
Yeah. We'll have to make Carlos buy me beer after everybody supports me.
All right, I'll buy you a beer anyway.
But yeah, appreciate you coming out and reviewing.
Fun. But this is we talk about it. Me leaving the game, it's always playing in my head. What went wrong? And reviewing these always helps because I learn too. You know, every video that we do with you, and every video I see, I watch of yours, it's educational. So I appreciate it.
Appreciate you joining us and the time you invest in this and working with the kids, because the program that you've put together, training the new young referees, it's some of why Roseville has some of the best like younger referees that come in and have some experience. So really appreciate all that effort you put in.
Yeah, appreciate that.
But join us next for our next upload when we do review that. But I'm Scott.
I'm Carlos.
And we'll see you out on the pitch.
What's Liddy or City?
So that's just my reminder of whenever I get an assignment, everywhere I need to go and update my availability. Now the Got Sport, I'm probably not going to use it all because it's just Elk.
Who is Elk Grove's using Elk
Grove's using it, and it is a disaster.
Good luck to them. I hear Stack Officials is super glitchy too.
It's not good. It's better than Got Sport, but it's not good. Finally, on the channel, somebody calling impeding other than me. All right, and then I
gotta make them even, right? The calls.
Yeah, call it both ways.
I gotta call it both ways.
I want to do that sometime in the game. Do the call it both ways, ref, and then on the next one go in and be like, oh, this way.